What's good, y'all, and welcome back to FlyeBooks, where the stories stay real and the feelings go deep. So today we got to talk about Deenie by Judy Blume. It's a book that honestly hit me deep when I first read it umpteen years ago. But it didn't seem to go over too well on social media this time. Like real talk, my teaser review for this one didn't do numbers like my other vids, but that's exactly why I'm coming back to it, because some stories aren't loud or flashy, but they do matter. And this one is personal to me. I was about 8 years old when I first read Deenie, tucked away in a corner of my room, hiding from the chaos and the pain that I was experiencing at home, and just hoping to disappear into a story that felt safe. And just to clarify, Judy Blume is white. Deenie is white. The whole setting is this middle-class suburban world that didn't look anything like mine at the time, and yet somehow the story still grabbed me, and the feelings in this book did cut across all of that. All right, so a quick setup for those who never read it. Deenie is this 13-year-old girl who's been told all her life that she's the pretty one. You know, her mom has already decided that Deanie's going to be a model, no questions, no say, that's what she's going to be. But then Deenie gets hit with the scoliosis diagnosis that comes with one big complication for this so-called modeling career that her mama is so set on, and that is a back brace. And just like that, the world Deenie thought she knew cracks wide open. When I initially read the book, I wasn't dealing with scoliosis. I didn't have a mom's trying to put me in a beauty pageant, but I was a little black girl surrounded by expectations, right? Expectations to act a certain way, speak a certain way, talk proper, be strong, be a good girl, don't cause a scene. And as you can see, I had my own invisible brace holding me in place. And yet here was this little white girl in this book, different as she was from me, but still feeling trapped, stared at, and misunderstood too. And that connection was real. Judy Blume wrote in a way that spoke past all those surface differences of race and class and hit straight at that deep, scared part of you that just wants to be seen for who you are, no matter who you are. And let's be real, growing up black and reading these stories wasn't always comfortable. But sometimes you got to look past all the straight hair and the suburban kitchens to catch what the author was really saying. But that's something that I learned early on with my reading, that sometimes stories can jump those lines if you let them. And even if my body was different, even if my house was different, even if my mama wasn't worried about what I did and my daddy wasn't present at all, Judy Blume was writing about the fear of losing control over your own body, about being labeled and boxed in. And that's what really hit home with me. Now, Judy Blume wrote this book in 1973, a time when girls weren't really encouraged to speak up about what was going on with their bodies or their minds. But Judy went there anyway, right? She dug into body image before body positivity was even a phrase. She wrote about what it feels like to have everyone stare at you and the pressure to fit into this perfect mold that was never really made for you. And that honesty is what made this book revolutionary for its time. I mean, it scared some parents, and even some schools banned this book. Yes, it was on the list, and it still might be for all I know. And looking at the numbers on this one, you know, I see y'all thought this was just some little preteen adolescent book, right? No. Deenie digs into some real stuff: body image, self-pleasure, taking your feelings out on your own body, if you catch my drift, and judgment. It's all in here. And even though her world looked like it was full of white picket fences and country club kind of vibes, the feelings were raw and messy and oh so real. Judy Blume wasn't playing even back in the old days. And that's the thing about Judy Blume. She never pulled any punches, you know, and you got to appreciate that, especially knowing that most of the books that I had access to as a young reader back then were centered on white characters and white worlds. But Judy Blume was one of the few who could write these kinds of white girl stories, if you want to call them that, but they still felt like they had a space for me too. And that's what makes this book kind of magic. You know, it reminds me that your story doesn't have to look exactly like somebody else's for you to see yourself in it. Judy Blume took what was real for her characters and entrusted readers like me to bridge the rest. And that's a big part of why I kept reading. So yeah, Deenie might feel dated on the surface, right? The slang, the setting, even the cover, the expectations girls were dealing with back in the 70s. But the deeper stuff, that's still facts. The pressure to look a certain way, the struggle to feel at home in your own body, the ways we hide pain when nobody's really listening. None of that ever really went away in this society. And that's something I'm seeing again and again, you know, in these older books I've been revisiting. The world looks different now, sure, but these stories still speak to the same emotions that we're carrying today. All right, so if you're curious, if you're looking for a story that'll remind you that you're not alone, no matter who you are or where you come from or what you look like, pick up Deenie. If you like, you can click that link in the description box to purchase your copy. And if you enjoyed this review, hit that like, drop me a comment, and let me know what book spoke to you, even if it wasn't meant for you. All right? And as always, keep reading and keep growing. And I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.